Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to my channel for another Hot Toys exclusive 1/6 scale figure unboxing and review. Today we're taking a look at the Imperial Commando, based off his appearance in Star Wars The Bad Batch. Now I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped a link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button, so you're notified as soon as a brand new Hot Toys Star Wars figure review goes live on the channel. I know this is not what everyone was hoping for our first Commando. I certainly was hoping for a Republic Commando, maybe even from Battlefront. Still, it's a Commando, so yeah, I'm really excited to get him out here. Up front, we have an image of the Imperial Commando. Down below on the Bad Batch color scheme glossy wraparound banner, another image of him. On the side of the box, more figure photography. I reckon I might steal this pose actually, because having the blaster in front of his waist does help obscure how skinny it is. Around the back, warnings, legal information, as well as this little gem that lets us know this figure does indeed require button cell batteries. Oh, Hot Toys, come on now, 2 Commandos on the slipcover. The artwork looks good, but you'll know it's going to be very difficult for collectors to pick up even one of these guys, let alone a second. Once they sell out, they're going to be very, very expensive on the aftermarket. I know why they make figures limited, because they want to sell out the entire run, but I don't think this figure was one to do that with. Anyway, first in-hand impressions for the Imperial Commando. So far so good. Is he everything that I've been waiting for from a 1/6 scale Commando? Maybe. What we are going to do now, though, is get all of his accessories laid out in the light box and take a closer look at everything he comes with. Starting off with the display base first, which is using their typical Star Wars Imperial style flooring mold. We do have some silver dry brushing around the panels this time, which I like. Around the front, Star Wars and Imperial Commando etched into the nameplate, and up top, an adjustable crotch grabber. Real working 1/6 scale backpacks are kinda like my jam. And with this one being as boxy as it is, it's even more functional than usual. You can have all of his hands and his thermal detonators stored inside the backpack. So when you want to change up a pose, you don't have to go rifling through the box or your accessory tubs. All of the hands and his accessories are already stored on him. So this backpack gets a massive tick from me. In Republic Commando, you do get a really good look at this blaster because it's pressed right up against the camera most of the time. It is an FPS after all. It's such a nostalgic looking blaster design. It's old school, but kind of modern at the same time. It's modular, you can remove the front part, and you can remove the magazine. We don't have any swap out pieces yet, but with Hot Toys making the cuts in the mold for these pieces to be removed, I reckon one day we're going to get Delta Squad. But I don't want to wait too long. Not as long as it's taken us to get this Commando. So get started on Delta Squad, please. We do get 2 different thermal detonators, this one with some sculpt work on the bottom and some red paint up top. This is meant to just go on the base like that, or you can pop it on a clanker perhaps. Whereas this one is a full thermal detonator. There's some sculpt work around the front, and there's some texture for the activation switch. And lastly, a full array of hands. The glove part that's done in matte black, I think is a borrowed sculpt from literally every single other clone, whereas the armor plating to me does look new. So we get an open palm splayed out finger hand for the right side and a pointing gesture hand for the left. 2 trigger finger hands and 2 open palm hands. So they can give us pairs of open palm hands, which means up until now they've just been choosing not to. Maybe they are listening. Or maybe it's a fluke. What we're going to do now is get the Imperial Commando himself out here. Standing straight up and down in the light box, no crazy poses or accessories or anything like that. When the first pictures for this guy started to leak from whatever the heck event they were getting ready to pose him at, I was like a kid on Christmas. I was so freaking excited. Finally, we were getting Commandos. But he's not perfect. He's perfect for me, and he's probably perfect for some of you all out there. Not for everyone. They did take some liberties with the body choice and the proportions. Everything else I'm on board with. The light-up visor for the helmet, the big chonky commando backpack, and the blaster. Cannot get enough of that blaster. But the waist is so freaking skinny, and I don't think he's tall enough. I do want to stress, not the end of the world for me, and if you're looking at this guy thinking, bloody hell, that is a stunning looking commando, then it's not going to be the end of the world for you either. Up close and personal, kicking things off with his helmet. This is a beautiful looking sculpt. All the way around, the details are sharp, the proportions look spot on to me, and I dig the way it's painted. But I love it not only for how it looks, but also for what it means for future Commando figures. Because now Hot Toys has this mold at their disposal. They can make Delta Squad, they can make Republic Commandos, and who the hell knows what else. But I can't wait to see what they're cooking up with this mold. Now, I do currently have his visor turned on. If you decide not to use the LEDs, you're not really missing out on anything because they aren't super bright anyway. The visor is painted to look like this, which is something that I've been saying they should do for light up eye figures forever. Paint them to look good first, and then worry about how they look with the LEDs turned on. Because we all know, button cell batteries are terrible. They do not last. Around the back, he does have his proper functional working clone backpack on, and you can remove it relatively easily. It's attached with magnets. There is this foam pad around the back, so it will protect the sculpt work and paint applications on his back armor. Around the front, this is where I start to have a couple of issues with this release. It's not entirely flawless. The shoulder pads flare out way more than I would like. They are attached with Velcro at the shoulders, and I would prefer them to sit down like this. I am still trying to figure out a way to get that done. The best idea that I've come up with is to pop a little bit of foam up the top, and then maybe they will sit down properly. Out of the box, they will flare out, and without doing some modding, there's nothing you can really do about it. So go in knowing that they're going to look like this. He does have this rubbery collar piece underneath the chest armor, which is nice and bulky, but then he thins down at the waist. A little bit too much. This throws off the proportions for me. You can pose it away if you have him crunched forward a little, or if you have his blaster in front of his ab section. Still, it was a strange choice going this skinny for the Clone Commando. I'm 99% sure most of this stuff is borrowed from Bad Batch's Hunter, and that's potentially why he looks as skinny as he does. It's not to say that there aren't any new pieces, it's going to be like Where's Waldo. You'll sit down with this guy next to Hunter, and you'll try and find all of the new parts. Now, he does have a stretchy ribbed fabric clone trooper bodysuit on underneath the armor, which means you can pose the absolute shit out of him. You don't have to worry about creasing or damage to this part of the outfit. The thigh plates are free floating, so you can adjust them depending on the pose you want to put him in. And the knee pads this time aren't on rubbery straps. They're on elastic, so they move around a lot more freely compared to other clone troopers. And you don't have to worry about thigh plates, as spiky as they are, digging into those rubbery straps over time, which has happened to some of my normal, regular Phase 2 clone troopers. The calf armor is also free floating, and his boots do have white soles on the bottom. Not super sure about that color scheme. I know it's accurate. Does kinda sorta look like he's wearing sneakers with the rest of his Clone Commando armor. On the underside, there's some sculpted tread. For a quick side-by-side comparison, on the left, the Imperial Commando, and on the right, Hunter from the Bad Batch. While there are a lot of similarities, the shoulder pads, bicep guards, forearm armor, the thigh plates, the diaper section, the ab section, the knee pads, the calf armor, and the boots, The helmet and the color scheme and the new chest plate help the commando look visually distinct enough for me as compared to Hunter. So even if you do already have Hunter in your collection, I don't think that means that you shouldn't pick up the commando. Yeah, I know, my timelines are off with this one. To be accurate, it should be a Phase 2 clone trooper or a stormtrooper standing next to the commando. But you see, the thing is, I don't see him as an Imperial commando as much as I see him as a Republic commando. I don't care about the color scheme, so I will be displaying him next to my Phase 1 troopers. Not quite like this. I am going to have the Phase 1 trooper in a kneeling pose because normal clones are not supposed to be taller than commandos. Commandos are supposed to be bigger and bulkier. How about next to a Jedi figure though? This is the Clone Wars version of Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is also taller than the poor commando. If you switched out the ankle connectors for longer ones or just did a body swap, then maybe the scaling would look more accurate. Going over articulation, starting off with his helmet. It's on a double ball peg as well as an articulated neck with a ball joint down the bottom. Combined, looking forward to there, looking up to there, swivel and pivot side to side. The shoulder pads are on elastic straps and you can tuck them underneath the chest armor if you need more range. The arms will go up to there, forward and back on soft ratchets. There's a butterfly joint at the shoulder that hinges up and down. Swivel at the bicep, double bend at the elbow on ratchets going just past 90, and then for the wrist peg, it's a hinge and swivel. The torso is covered by 1, 2, 3 pieces of armor, so crunching forward is limited to there, going back to there, swivel and pivot side to side. His legs will go forward on clicky ratchets to there, but you can rotate the thigh armor, then you'll get a couple more clicks out of it. Going out to there, swivel at the upper thigh. Ratcheted double bend at the knee going past 90, and a double ball peg for the ankles, good for forward and back, swivel, as well as ankle tilt. Moving on to the 3 cool and 3 annoying things. The first annoying thing is, dude's a little bit too skinny for me. It's not a deal breaker, and I know in The Bad Batch, the show that this guy is based off, the commandos did sort of look like this. But it's not what I'm used to seeing from Hot Toys. Normally, when they take something that we've seen in animation and convert it to a live-action-ish approximation of that thing in 1/6 scale, they do so with realism in mind. This time, they didn't. He looks significantly more stylized than I was expecting he would. The second annoying thing is, come on Hot Toys, button cell batteries for the light-up visor. You've got a massive backpack here. You could have popped some AAA batteries in there and then the visor would have stayed lit up for significantly longer. You could have transferred the power with magnets through to the body and up into the sculpt. The third annoying thing is, this is our first ever clone commando, and they didn't even give us closed fists, nor one with the little blade sticking out of it, and that to me is just a crime. The first cool thing is the way they painted the visor. If the button cell batteries die on you, which they will, it still looks really good. It almost looks like it's lit up, even with the LEDs turned off. The second cool thing is, this is why I love working backpacks on figures, because you can store his spare accessories and hands inside the darn thing. So you don't have to go back to the box if you want to change out one of the hands. They're just already there in his backpack. The third cool thing is the Clone Commando Blaster. I never get tired of seeing this thing, and it's modular, so that means one day, surely they're going to give us Delta Squad in 1/6 scale. Wrapping up on the Imperial Commando by Hot Toys based off his appearance in Star Wars The Bad Batch. But scratch that. I don't care what it says on the box, I don't care what it says on the website. This is a Republic Commando. It's everything that I wanted for a 1/6 scale commando, except for the hand with the blade on it and the slightly skinny proportions. I can get around the proportions. In the right pose, this guy's going to look phenomenal. In the wrong pose, maybe not so much. If this doesn't appeal to you, I wouldn't stress about it. One day, fingers crossed relatively soon, they are going to make more commandos. Hot Toys does not invest in molds if they can't get their money's worth out of them. C-3PO, for example, a brand new mold top to bottom. We got Episode 2 C-3PO, then we got Return of the Jedi C-3PO, then we got 000. And you can bet we're going to get more C-3POs in the future. This is that for a clone trooper. So be patient. Wait for the color scheme that you like for Commandos. Now, I got mine at a discount from Pop Collectibles. As always, do your own research, make sure you are comfortable before buying. I have popped a link to their site in the description below, along with the discount code Justin's Collection, for 5% off your order if you do decide to buy from them. While you're down there, why not hit that subscribe, bell notification icon, and join button if you like the sound of seeing your name in the end credits of my reviews. Like, comment, and subscribe. We'll catch you in the next video.